Perfect schedules look mwah, chef's kiss on paper and fall apart the second real life happens. Today, I'm going to be talking about good enough planning, the kind that works with long work days, limited energy, shifting priorities, and a business that's still evolving. Hello, my beautiful entrepreneurs. My name is Tabitha Bear, and this is A Hot Mess Builds an Empire, the Chaos to Cash series. Yes. Ugh. I let you know at the beginning of every episode that I have absolutely no idea what it is that I'm doing, but I'm doing it with the energy of someone who's tripped and is making a career out of the fall. So today I want to talk about planning and scheduling and dealing with real life. Because listen, I'm going to tell you up front. I'm going to tell you up front, and I'm going to say the thing that I always say. It's important to note that. Listen, it's important to note that perfect planning is a trap. It is a fucking trap, okay? It doesn't exist. If you have school and a job and children and family obligations and real life going on, perfect planning doesn't exist, okay? Perfect planning thinks that you have zero interruptions, unlimited energy, consistent availability. Listen, I'm going to let you know right now. I'm going to let you in on an industry secret. Real life doesn't care about your color coded calendar. It doesn't. It really doesn't. If today is a blue post it note day and something happens outside of the realms of your business and you have to take care of it, fuck your blue post it note day, right? Real life just doesn't care about that shit. And we all know it. We all know that real life creeps in on us and rattles things around and it makes you go, oh my God, I can't possibly commit to this schedule now, right? When the plan breaks, people internalize and they start blaming themselves and not the plan. And we're here to change that. Do not blame yourself. Do not feel guilty. The plan just wasn't flexible enough, right? Good enough planning takes into consideration your real life. It allows you to be flexible. It allows you to be adaptable on purpose. So let's talk about good enough planning and not perfect planning and how we are going to rock the shit out of 2026. So just to give you some insight into the schedule that it is that I worked with 2025 is I work 4 days a week and have 3-day weekends. My schedule is usually 14-ish hour shifts and a 2-hour commute. I'm usually out of the house somewhere between 16 to 17 hours out of the day. And those days are just not meant for deep creative work. It just can't happen. And I have to let myself know that those are survival days. I have to make sure I get rest. I have to make sure that I'm committed to my job, right? And forcing productivity just creates a lot of guilt. And I've tried to wake up early and do a lot of things, but I work such long shifts that it's kind of difficult to like attack things before I go to work or attack things after I come home from work. So everything is done on sort of a batch creation on my 3 days off. So for 2025, I created a 4-week system. So instead of it being like batch creation throughout each week, I created like a batch creation for the month and it worked out pretty okay. Week 1 was like planning and rough drafts. Week 2 was sort of finalizing and scheduling things out. Week 3 was maintenance, research, admin, website maintenance, that kind of thing. And then week 4 was anything that spilled over, additional research, prep for the next month, and batching Instagram videos. It was nothing fancy, nothing crazy, but it was contained, right? It had steps and I had progress and it pushed things forward and I learned how I worked better and all that kind of jazz. So that's what I did for most of 2025. So I found that system worked because it was each week had a job. I wasn't spending each day going like, well, what should I do today? And or today is a pink post-it note day and I have to follow the pink post-it note schedule. Like my brain also wasn't switching contexts like continuously throughout each day. Everything was just kind of like very compartmentalized that I could focus on This is what I'm doing for the next 3 hours. This is what I'm doing for the next 2 hours. This is what I'm doing today. This is what I'm doing tomorrow. My momentum came from focus, not pressure. So the structure reduced it. What am I trying to say here? The structure reduced decision fatigue, right? It made it so much easier for me to go, this is what I'm doing today. This is what I'm working on today. This is what's due at the end of the week for my deadlines. This is what I'm posting next week. This is what's getting scheduled this week. There was less thought that I had to put into the fact that I had structure every week and every month. So, what does my schedule look like for 2026? I don't know. Um, I'm diving into this new platform called, what is it called again? Yes, YouTube. I'm diving into this new platform. I'm just kidding. I'm being an ass. Um, it's new to me, right? And I'm kind of taking a spin and talking more about entrepreneurship than I am about storytelling and folklore and all the stuff that I've talked about on my other platforms. Um, I'm also going through recovery from emergency surgery, a really bad car accident, and just kind of dealing with the fact that on the almost daily, I have a bunch of doctor's appointments that I have to go through. So my energy looks very different to start this year off. So I'm just kind of healing and figuring things out. And each day is a little bit better, or, some days are a little bit worse. And I'm just kind of getting through my real life. But what I'm doing is I'm focusing on these daily YouTube videos and nothing else. There is nothing else competing for my attention right now. So these get my full attention. And the goal is to eventually be a day ahead and kind of be scheduling these a little bit better. And the schedule will evolve as I evolve. And the same thing goes for you. Your schedule is going to evolve as you evolve. Your schedule is going to change as things change. And that's okay. So here's a very important rule: you are allowed to change the plan. You're allowed to change the plan. So your current schedule is not a personality trait, it's not a moral obligation, and changing is not a failure. This is crucial to remember, especially, you know, if you are testing out a new platform, if you're pushing a product or service and you're kind of marketing differently to see if maybe the conversion will change if you change things up, if you're pivoting your focus. For me, I'm trying YouTube on for size and I'm seeing how it's going. And I've just I haven't given up on other platforms, but I'm trying this one on with the capacity that it is that I have right now. And, you know, adaptation is a skill, not a flaw. So it takes some time to work through and perfect and get used to it and be flexible with changes, but be flexible with changes, right? So next up, I want to talk about batching. And I think that batching is a bit of a lifesaver. This came in really handy when I was a travel blogger and travel photographer. And those of you who are proper, like, content creators out there will probably know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So, like, Saturdays and Sundays, I spent my weekends hiking and kind of doing like mini road trips to get pictures and content and video and have all that raw stuff. Mondays and Tuesdays were meant for sort of organizing those photos and editing them. And Wednesdays and Thursdays were for posting and scheduling and engaging. And Fridays were for kind of like spillover, replanning. And then each week would repeat the exact same way. Now, that worked for that, but my business has changed over the years. So I'm more in that 4 week rotation that I talked about before. That has worked really well for me. And, I stuck to that for 2025 and I saw good things from it. But batching works really well for you because batching helps when your time is limited, your energy is uneven, and life is loud. So instead of doing the same things every single day, batch it out. Do it in steps, do it in stages, separate your shit. So batching will reduce the chaos. And I think it gives you better focus every day, such as Sundays are for marketing, Mondays are for content creation, Tuesdays are for coaching calls only, if you're a coach, or maybe Tuesdays are for blog post writing only. And then Wednesdays are for like website maintenance, SEO research, hashtag research, whatever it is that you're doing, right? Like, break things up and it will literally change the way it is that you're working. So when it comes to creating a good enough schedule, right? Listen, it's not aesthetic, it's not optimized to death. It just works. Good enough planning protects your energy, creates consistency, and leaves room for life. That's the goal, right? Like you you want to have a healthy work-life balance as best as possible. Maybe you do have more energy and time to commit to your business, or maybe you are super limited, right? Like everybody has different spectrums and different schedules and different life obligations. But the thing is that you should take everything into consideration and not sit here. And I've talked about this before. Like I think I talked about this yesterday about bleeding time. We usually plan based on the time that we wish we had and not the time that we actually have. So just take that into consideration when you are creating your schedule. Like, hey, I need to pick the kids up by 5. I need to, cook dinner. I need to do this. So really my work day for my business is going to start somewhere around 8:39 after people go to bed, if they go to bed on time. And then I'll be able to do stuff maybe until like 11, and then I'm too exhausted to continue to think, and I go to sleep. So, if you know that for like 5 days a week, you can give yourself 2 hours a day, schedule based around that. Create batches too based around that. So, for 2 hours today, I'm going to focus on my products and services. For 2 hours today, I'm going to focus on marketing those products and services. For 2 hours the next day, I'm going to focus on this, that, and whatever, right? So, just take your real life into consideration, because the thing is that you start to feel guilty when you can't commit to schedules that you've created based on perfection. If we constantly base everything off of a bar that you are never going to hit, you're going to start to resent your business. You're going to start to hate yourself. You're going to feel really guilty. There's going to be tons of negative emotions. And it's just not healthy to run your business that way. You don't want to hate your business. You want to love your business. You want to chase that freedom of being your own boss, right? So, take all these things into consideration when you are creating a flexible, good enough schedule for yourself. So we're at the end of the episode, and I let you guys know, how does this fit into the Chaos to Cash series, right? So cash comes from finished work. Ta-da! Your finished work comes from focused time, and your focused time comes from realistic planning. A sustainable schedule is a revenue strategy. When you take into consideration the time you actually have and not the time that you wish you had, and not these zero interruptions that you know aren't true, right? Like when you take all of those things into consideration, you build real momentum, like real momentum based off of real life. And maybe it's slower than what you want, and I get that that's very frustrating, and you want to see things move faster and quicker. And I understand maybe how boring it looks, right? To sit and just kind of go like, well, I'm only going to have an hour today to do something. I hit the microphone. I was doing so good. I was doing so good. I was so proud of myself that I didn't hit the microphone so far this episode, and I just hit it at the end. So annoying. Anyway, just base your schedule off of real life. Your planning is good enough when you give yourself, like, okay, I have 2 hours, 5 days a week to work on my business outside of my family obligations and my full time job or school or whatever. Narrow that down to like an hour and 45 minutes. Give yourself a 15-minute break, bathroom break, bio break. Somebody, not going to bed when they should be and interrupting you with, Mommy, can I have a drink of water? Right? Like just consider all the things that would interrupt your focus, and just kind of go like, okay, here's my realistic, what it is that I'm going to be doing for time this week. Here's my realistic goals that I can accomplish within that time frame. Just be honest with yourself, because the thing is, if you hold yourself to this really high standard of time that you cannot commit to, and you hold this really high bar that you are never going to reach, you're never going to be satisfied with what it is that you're doing. You're going to be very upset with yourself all the time. And I would just really hate to see that happen for you in your business. So tell me in the comments, like, how much time do you have for your business on the daily or on the weekly or the monthly? Like, what is it that your time frame is that you're working with? I'd really love to know, because we're all different. We're all hustling in a different kind of way. And I think it would just be helpful if people could see the different dynamics that are out there. And let me know how you're going to start grouping your time or batching your time differently so you're not spreading yourself so thin. We're all here to help each other, right? Like maybe there are other schedules out there and other time frames out there that maybe would work better for you than what it is that I've discussed here today. Who knows? But we can all help each other in the comment section, right? I truly believe in collaboration. So just share what it is that you have going on with your schedule and let's see if we can fine tune that little son of a bitch. Thank you so much for watching this video. Lots of swear words in this one today, but I'm just scheduling gets me so agitated because I wish I had more time. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, please subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow.